welcome to Go Get This podcast where we haven't quite decided yet, but we're going to keep doing it anyway. I'm Colby.
And I'm a mushroom that's growing under your bed that's shaped like a wiener. I don't know where it's going with that. And I'm really angry at you. You can call me Fee.
Damn, how'd the mushroom get under there?
Oh my god. So, I was not reminiscing, but like I was
fondly remembering.
I was fondly remembering this green text that had popped up again that I saw about, and this is gross, sorry, that someone posted on 4chan a long time ago, and they were just like, yeah, so, this guy, I guess, he was just like, so I have this sock that I just always jerk off into, right?
Yeah,
and I've been doing it like
I'm right there with you right now. Now I know what era this was written into. Okay, let's keep going.
And he's like, I never watch it. I just constantly just whack off into it. And then I think he said his room got so dirty that he lost a sock until like he cleaned a little bit, and then he found the sock and it was growing mushrooms on it, and like had grown fungus on it. Mm-hmm. And it was very gross, and mushrooms are on my mind. Also, I've been eating a lot of mushrooms.
Mushrooms are really good. My wife actually started growing them in the backyard. Like, you know, like mushrooms you can eat and on purpose, not just like the accidental ones that show up when it rains.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say that show up on like old socks.
Yeah, you know, we just got a bunch of old socks in the backyard. No, we've got like the containers filled with like hay and mycelium blocks, and then just water it, and then just fucking mushrooms show up. It's awesome.
That is cool, but I'm not much of a gardener. I'm not much of an outside person. That's why I go to the gym, because I hate being outside. The gym has AC.
Yeah, listen, when I was going to the gym to like go work out, like that's the exact same reasoning I had was I started going during the summer, and I would like, you know, do like elliptical or run on a treadmill or whatever. And I would just do that for 30 minutes an hour. And I did that for months and months and months. Eventually, like I started out because I was like, God, it's, you know, blazing balls ass hot outside. And then eventually it became like, wow, it's like frigid outside. I don't want to go running outside. This is stupid. And then I would get like, the worst thing is that, and you'll probably figure this out soon, depending on your gym, but my gym had a bunch of windows on one side, and just the amount of like humidity inside of the building from people sweating and breathing all the fucking time meant that the windows were just constantly wet during the winter. And I was like, God, it's disgusting in here, but I gotta run, so.
Oh, but I need a good fucking figure or my wife will leave me.
Damn!
No, there's no windows in my gym. It's basically a cave.
just a dark box, and they're like, yeah, get in there and sweat.
Yeah, you walk in there like, get the pump. And just like from the outside you hear it, and you just hear a bunch of grunting, and like you're just like, oh, what's going on in there? And you're like, yeah, come join us.
Welcome to Gold's Cave. You get in there and you start sweating right now. Welcome to Planet
Growly. I don't know. Just like got nothing. Like,
come and get sweaty and use the complimentary towels.
You're like, I
won't drink.
You're like, I don't want to go there, like, but this is the cheapest gym I could find. I don't have a choice.
I promise I won't drink your sweat.
They walk around like near you, and they go,
good form.
You're like, stop, go away.
They pat you on the back with like a paper towel to like absorb the sweat.
They're like, oh, building up a good sweat, I see. Just let me get in there.
But you can't do nothing because like you're mid-workout and you need to get fit. You need to fit into that bikini. Mm-hmm. So like you got to get accosted by this fucking Gollum gremlin.
Yeah, and it's like it's the only gym in town that's like $20 a month. You're like, I mean, you can't argue with that deal. You know what I mean?
Actually, that's a worse deal than what I'm paying now.
Oh my God, really?
I'm paying $10 a month.
Damn, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, fucking Planet Fitness has like it's like, oh, just basics. You get nothing else but gym and locker room access for $10. I'm like, what else is there? They're like, well, if you get the black card, you can go to the VIP area. You can go to the VIP area, and we have massage chairs and aqua massage beds and a tanning bed. Mm-hmm. I'm like, yeah, but why would I need that?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you gotta look good.
Because I'm like, well, you want that stuff.
I'm like, but the sun's at my house too. I can just tan outside.
Like, so I had a membership at Gold's, and I tell you, like, all of the gyms around me and, like, within like a reasonable driving distance of my house, the cheapest one I could find was Gold's, and it was, I think, $40 a month, 45.
Oh, dude, no, yeah. Gold's will fucking steal your wallet when you're not looking.
Yeah, dude, and they make it really hard to cancel, too. But they did have one feature that I appreciated. So I started going to them, like, when we lived down south, and yeah, it was a Gold's Gym in a strip mall, which is why they had so many fucking windows. Like, it was just a strip mall, and the Gold's Gym bought, like, a place in it, and so it was just wall-to-wall windows. So if you were anywhere in that gym, people could look at you, which is fun.
I don't know why gyms do that. Like, they're like, oh, look at the freaks trying to lose weight. And you're just, and they always put the cardio machines right in front of the front windows.
Yeah, exactly. That was exactly the thing. They put all the bikes in front of the windows, and, like, it faced a Whataburger drive-thru. So if anybody was gonna go, like, get food, they could just look at you. And you're like, cool, thanks.
Yeah, they're walking by, like, fucking eating a fucking double meat cheeseburger, and you're just like, oh man, I wish I wasn't trying to get healthy.
Yeah, yeah. But, like, the second Gold's Gym that I went to, I actually liked a lot more. For just a bevy of reasons, but, like, two of them were, should I so have chosen to do it, they had a big, like, dark movie theater room where it was, like, a theater playing movies, and it was dark, and they just had bikes in there, so you could just, like ride a bike and watch a movie, and I was like, that's sick.
Yeah, that's fucking sick.
But, like, you can't control what movie is on, and all the movies were, like, I didn't give a shit about.
All they do is play Arnold Schwarzenegger Mr. Universe reruns.
Yeah, it's really weird. They just played supercuts of him in all of his movies flexing, and I was like, ugh.
They played that one clip of him just, oh, I like sex. Sex is good. Yeah. I need to have sex every day.
Yeah, exactly. They played that just on repeat. It was very strange.
Young Arnold Schwarzenegger was a cringe lord, dude. I swear
he was. Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I got to buff up so I can go to the competition, but let me smoke this weed. It's time to get crunk.
The thing is, so you can't pick the movies in the movie theater, but at the very least, like, the other machines had a TV built in, which is my favorite part, because I would just show up with my headphones and plug them in, and usually around the time that I would go to the gym was, like, after work, I would ride my bike to the gym and then ride my bike back, and in that time, I would get there and I would run for the entire episode of American Ninja Warrior, and then I would just leave.
There are TVs in front of the cardio machines that I don't pay attention to, but that's because they always have, like, CNBC News and Fox News and like ABC and, like, I watch Family Feud when it's on, but then they'll put, like, Shark Tank, and I'm like, oh well, I'm gonna watch that at home. I don't want to watch it here.
Yeah, and, like, not only that, like, especially Shark Tank is really bad about this. Like, you can't watch it and get the best parts of Shark Tank, because the best parts of Shark Tank are, like, whenever they're, like, presenting something, and then, like, one of the sharks, like, asks a question or, like, is really dismissive of them, and then you can see that their whole heart is just breaking on stream.
Oh my god!
You're like, oh no!
Really... I love that when they come out fucking full energy and they're like, we want to sell you this new fucking innovation that's going to help families and do all this shit, and it's cost effective and it's good for the environment. And one of the sharks like, yeah, but what does it cost? I bet you don't have any sales. I bet your family doesn't even like you. Just fucking...
Yeah, well, hey, what are you even trying to sell me right now? I don't get this.
Now, why would I buy this when a fucking thing exists and I use it already? Get out of here!
Get out of here. By the way, not sponsored by them, but call me.
Yeah, not now.
Yeah,
we could be.
I watched. God, I had this person that I used to work with has been on the wildest personal journey I've ever heard. So she was like,
Fuck.
"Do you know what a product manager is?"
Kinda? Isn't that what your wife does?
No, close. But it's like basically you're like, for especially like a software company, you basically are like, this is the kind of product that we're making and why we're building it, and here are the features that we're doing and in what order and what the timelines are and what the stakeholders say. Like, they manage all of that stuff. And so she was a product manager at our company, and then she left and became like the chief product person at another company. And I was like, oh, Jesus. Wow, that's great. Congrats. Good for you. And then she quit after a few months. And I was like, oh, that's a weird choice. And then she was like, yeah, now I'm going to be an actress. And I was like, oh, that you were having a fucking crisis right now. That must be what this is. Cause like, you don't turn down like the fucking $200,000 a year plus job to be like, I'm going to go be an extra in the new Walker Texas Ranger reboot or whatever the shit they're doing. Right. And so I'm like, okay, you do you, but whatever. And then she was like, I also have like self-published this book, and now I'm getting people to review my book. And I was like, okay, now you're okay, you're not picking a thing and going with it. You're just doing everything, and that's fine. That's fine. But like, yeah, man, oh gosh. And then not long ago, she was like, well, I've been trying to patent this like novel invention for a while, and I finally got it patented, and I submitted it to Shark Tank, and they sound really interested. And then she just posted an update like a week ago that was like, turns out they're not interested. Anybody willing to invest in my project? And I was like, fucking no. With the kind of stability you provide, absolutely not.
Well, I don't know if this would like tell who the person is, but what was the product?
It was like it was a novel invention for a hair straightener, maybe, or like a hair dryer or something. And I think it had to do with like turning it off automatically. But the thing is, because like I didn't get the details on this product, but when I was like reading it, I was like, if that's the novel thing, don't they already do that? Like, if you turn on your hair straightener and leave it on for too long, doesn't it turn itself off after a while? Isn't that a thing already?
I thought it had like a heat sensor. If it got too hot,
that's what I thought.
It'll go into sleep mode. I mean, to me, that doesn't sound like very novel, because I mean, most hair straighteners are like very intricate now. Mm-hmm. Like they do a bunch of things, and why would this is for personal use? I'm guessing. But like, why would you leave your hair straightener on like so long that it would just be on fire? It
was just like if you forgot it, like if you forgot that you left the hair straightener on, you know what I mean?
I mean,
which is fair, but that is one of those things where it's like, oh man, did I leave the oven on? And it's like, when was the last time someone left the fucking oven on?
Yeah, no shit, like. Okay, so we do leave our oven on in the winter because that's basically our heating unit for my house. Mm-hmm. So we have like we keep the oven on to produce heat for the kitchen. Mm-hmm. But that we don't do it all the time, so it's not like, did I leave the oven on?
Yeah. Hey, is the house gonna burn down?
Well, we also have an electric one, so I mean it's not like fucking just. Gas is pouring into our fucking house.
Hell yeah. Just that best way to heat up your house is to set the whole thing on fire. So like I think you're getting there.
That's what I do. I went to Shark Tank and tried to pitch that, but they booed me off. Mark Cuban was especially very upset at me. And Mark Cuban, anytime you see him, he looks like he just hates everything that's pitched to him. even like if he likes it, his eyes just keep saying this is bullshit. Like the bottom half of his face doesn't match the top.
He's like, I love Mark Cuban for a lot of reasons. I think he's like he's one of the better sharks in that, like, especially recently he started a prescription drug company that, like, their whole thing is they buy up like medicine that is generic and then they sell it for much cheaper, because he's like, wow, do you know how fucking ridiculous it is that insulin is so expensive? Let's make things cheap. And like, that's not a thing that's going to make him a lot of money, but it is like a nice thing to do. So I'm like, all right, that's pretty cool. But I will say the other reason why I like him is that anytime that someone comes on a Shark Tank with something that's like, yeah, this is a mattress that like helps you sleep at night, and it does that because it's got garlic in it, and he's like, no, take that back, take that shit back. Do you have any scientific studies saying that that's true? And they're like, well, no. And he's like, get the shit out of here then. Shut up.
What's your sales? You got a patent? No? Get the hell out of here. I'm out.
What are you doing? You're embarrassing me. You're embarrassing yourself. We're going to air this. You know that, right?
This is on national TV and you look like an idiot. Just my favorite, and this is Kevin Leary, Mr. Wonderful.
That's right.
Like, for the past 3 seasons, his whole thing is, like, everyone's out and he's like, I'll do it, but I gotta have a royalty on it. And it's gonna bankrupt you, but I get money.
Man, the amount of times that I've seen Shark Tank and, everybody is like, no, we can't do it. It's like, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, listen, I'm here. I'm willing to give you a deal. You just have to give me over half the company. Over half the company, and I'm gonna need 20 cents for every $1 that you make, and I need that in perpetuity. And then I'm willing to give you like $87.
Look, that's your only deal. It's this or fucking nothing.
Yeah, and then they're like, well, I don't know, that we get a shark on our side. That is like, shut the fuck up, God.
I hate fucking when he's just like, I think this is a good idea, and I have this wine company, or I have all these high clientele, or I do my food YouTube, and I'm like, do people watch it? I feel like they don't.
I don't know. I watched someone do a reaction video to his, like, here's my morning routine, and I gotta say, his house is a fucking mess, which is very funny to me. Just that, like, this like multi-millionaire doesn't want to pay for someone to like clean his house and like have it look nice. He's just like, his excuse is like, no, it's organized chaos. I know where everything is. And I'm like, okay, you're just
a fucking
stupid. That's fine.
Yeah, a big slob. I love Shark Tank, but I watch it, but I don't enjoy it as much as the earlier seasons where people would just bring random bullshit on.
Yeah, they've really upped the level of products that have to be on there, and I think that's because in the first few seasons, like, they had slim pickings. So
yeah,
they have like 100 people apply. They have 40 people to make the show out of, and 3 of those products are slam dunks. The rest, they're like, oh, God, I don't know. Do we really need, like, different pants? Like, I made waterproof pants. Oh, God, do we need that? Does anyone need that? Shit. I'll just put it on, whatever.
I like the appeal of just random people just bringing these stupid ideas that will amount to nothing and just being so, like, angry that the sharks didn't invest in them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you've seen it, but this one of the earlier seasons, like 1 or 2, and like this guy, he brought on what looked like a metal umbrella that sieved dirt and water and found gold flakes. And they'd have to be like sieving through all this stuff for hours and hours just to amount to like not even a couple of ounces of gold per like couple of days. And he was like, this is a smart invention, and you'll see, you'll fucking rue the day. And
Yeah.
everyone just laughs him off.
I'm gonna mix all the gold.
He's like, I like when they're like, they're missing out on fucking, I'm so good, they're missing out.
Yeah,
they don't know what they're
through their
missing.
tears, they're like, they don't know what they're missing out on. We put all of our hopes and our dreams into this, and it's gonna be great.
Like,
God, it's so funny. I actually we were talking about this on the last episode, but we were talking about Japanese convenience stores having hot coffee, like a container that has hot coffee in it. And there was a guy, he is trying to do that in America, right? But he he's like, oh yeah, I've got I've got this refrigerator that keeps these coffees hot, and you always open it and there's always like hot coffee just ready to go. And the thing is, like, it's basically like one of those micro fridges that you just like put a very small amount of like this coffee in, like maybe 3 or 4 cases, and then he's asking like, oh yeah, I just we just need to get this off the ground. And they're like, okay, cool. How much money have you invested so far? And he's like, well, I've invested about $3 million of like me and my family's money. And they're like, wow, that's a lot of money. And like, what have you gotten done with that? And he's like, well, we had to we had to secure the rights to some stuff, and we did some test market trials, and things went okay. We learned some lessons. We got some, but we're ready to hit the big time now.
we haven't quite broke even yet, but I mean, we're getting there.
Yeah, exactly. All of them were like, so you did this because this works in Japan, right? And he's like, yeah. Like, it works great in Japan. Everyone loves it. And they're like, yeah, the culture there is a lot different than here, especially because I don't know if you know this, but most major cities here have a Starbucks within walking distance of everywhere. And he's like,
yeah,
well, this is grab and go. This is much faster. You don't need to go to the Starbucks and ask them. And they're like, no. I don't think you I think it was Kevin Leary that was like, I don't think you understand.
Oh my God.
You have got to stop this. You are wasting so much money on this idea that is never going to work in America. And he's like, it is though.
Look how easy it is. I can walk into a gas station right now and get a cup of coffee, and it'll probably take them same amount of time.
Oh my God. Oh no. Oh Jesus. I just went to their website. Oh. I'm looking, and in Austin, oh no. Austin has one of these machines. It's called Hot Shot, by the way. It's Hot Shot Coffee. And Austin has one, and it's inside of a Best Buy. Oh no. Oh, it's in a Best Buy.
That's not convenient.
No, it's not. Oh.
Wait,
it's a Best Buy.
Are they selling the machine, or are they just selling coffees to buy?
So, yeah, it's both. So that what they're saying is here's where you can find a Hot Shot Coffee container that has hot coffee inside of it. And I'm looking. Oh, good. There's one in Corpus, thank God.
Oh no.
Yeah, there's one that you can go get. It's in downtown, thank God, where all the business professionals they're really hurting for coffee down there. It's a block away from Shoreline, which if you don't live in Corpus, that's by the water. So it's 1 block away from there, in a bar called Bar Under the Sea, which
I have never heard of that place.
I don't think anyone has. So yeah, if you're getting drunk in Corpus and you want to get a hot coffee, bam, they got a Hot Shots ready for you.
Oh, you know what this means, right? Me and you are gonna have to drive.
Oh, we're gonna have to go.
We're gonna have to drive to our respective Hot Shots locations and try it, and then next week we're gonna have to fucking. Oh no.
Oh man, So I'm looking at it. Okay, it's Bar Under the Sun, BUS, bus. Great name, guys. So Bar Under the Sun is a vibrant craft cocktail and patio bar located in downtown Corpus Christi. In this former Greyhound bus station, we serve the perfect mix. Yeah, now you know where it is, exactly.
Oh, no.
That's why they named it bus. They were like, we're going to be in a bus station. We got to make it.
It'll save us a bunch on signs because it already says bus on everything.
Listen, just leave the bus up. We'll work around it.
We'll come up for an acronym later, but just leave it up.
So yeah, I'm looking, and it's a cocktail bar, and it looks like they've got food trucks that come sometimes, and you can go there and get a hot coffee out of a little micro fridge if you want.
Is that by the Executive Surf Club?
Yeah, it's like down the block from. Yeah,
I know where it's at. Oh my god,
mm-hmm.
the amount of time I want to waste going down there is none because I hate going down there.
Yeah, man, so just like in most downtown areas, I dread going anywhere that like is a downtown in a city. Unless I'm like sleeping at a hotel there, specifically because parking is never good in a downtown area. It's always like $15, $20. You can never find it. And if you find cheap parking, it's because it's in like an open air lot that everyone knows like, you park there if you want to get your car broken into.
Dude, the thing is, you don't want to park down. This is the worst place for bars because the police station is like a block away.
Yeah,
why would you put all of these bars there?
Yeah, good question. It's it really do be baffling.
And then of course they're towing cars, dude. My dad's car got towed there one time.
Oh my god.
I forget what he was doing something. He was like going to Corpus to do something for work, and his car got towed. The police stations are always, the police people, like the maid readers, are always roving that place because A, the police station's right there, and B, the fucking jail is also right there. And everything is right. Like, this is so stupid. I'm thinking out loud about it. It's and that's where tourists actually go to, and they don't know. They don't know what's fucking up. So
yeah, it's a super popular place to be because there's a lot of stuff in that area that like if you're a tourist in the area you want to go to, right? Like you want to go to like the Landry'S seafood house that's on a boat
on the
whatever.
Boat, yeah,
you want to go see the Selena statue, obviously.
Yeah, you want to go to Tea Heads and the fucking the boardwalk, not boardwalk, but like the whole fucking walk down where you can go down the big stairs to the water.
Yeah, the fake beach they put in.
Yeah.
Yeah, fun fact, if you ever go to Corpus and you like go to the beach that's on Shoreline Drive, that beach used to not be there. The city put it in because they were like, we need to make something about this place appealing because God, no one wants to be here.
Even though like a shit ton of people come every year to go to a gross beach. Mm-hmm. It's so stupid. I hate it.
I mean, that's the thing is like, I feel like it's mostly people that are like from Texas that are like, well, you know, we're from wherever and we got to go down to go to like a beach. And then they're like, well, South Padre is just a little too far. Maybe we'll just stop in Corpus. It's a big city. They've got a beach.
I would rather go down to the river at the Frio. It's so much nicer and rustic rather than going to our decrepit hotels down there. The fucking Corpus Christi hotel is gross. It is disgusting.
There's a lot of issues with the stuff down there.
The Landry'S, oh my god, it looks like novel on the outside. You go inside, it's gross in there.
Yeah,
like they don't clean it. It's just dirty, and it's by the water. Mm-hmm. It's on the water.
It's hard to clean places like that because it's so damn humid. So like, even if you like get in there and you like, it just seems like like somebody drops a drink on the ground and you're like, oh, we've got to like mop that up. And then you get down there with like your napkin and you're like mopping it up. But then you notice that all of the carpet is moist because you're on the ocean and you can't do fucking anything to dry anything. Everything's moist. It's great.
Oh, dude, I can't even imagine because they don't have like that. Like, they have like restaurant carpet on hardwood because it's a fucking boat. Mm-hmm. And you can't imagine the moisture that seeped into it and the amount of mold under it. Like, just thinking about it, it's gross.
Yeah.
Just because you want shitty fucking lobster or fish. Just go to a goddamn what's that restaurant with the tube for fucking their drive-through where you speak into the PVC tube.
Oh my god. Oh, a boat net?
Boat net.
Go to a boat net.
Just go to a fucking boat net. At least you're having fun talking to someone through a big PVC tube.
Yeah, they're like, we can't afford speakers, or sorry.
That's how they attract people. They're like, oh yeah, you go to Landry'S for atmosphere. Come to boat net for fucking tube.
Yeah,
you're like, fun.
You're like, hey, can I just get like 4 pieces of fish? And they're like, you're gonna have to speak up. There's a gopher in the tube. We can't get out. What? Okay.
A possum has made the middle of the tube its home. I'm sorry.
Did I tell the story on the podcast about how my parents banned me from going back to Landry'S with them?
No.
So we went there one night, and I don't know why my parents wanted to go to Landry'S. Like, we had never been there before. My parents were like, yeah, we're going to go and eat at Landry'S. We're going to give it a try. At this point, I'm like in high school, so I must have been like 17 or so. So we get in there and I'm like looking through the menu. I'm like, oh yeah, I know what I'm going to eat. I'm going to have like, crawfish etouffee, and I'm going to have this gumbo. So I order the gumbo, and sure enough, they show up with the gumbo, and everybody's eating, and my parents can see I'm like, what's wrong with this gumbo? And like, the gumbo is super watery. Like,
yeah,
it's like a soup. It's like a thin broth soup. And so like I'm like, this is not good. That's not gumbo. This isn't thick. So like I eat like 2 or 3 bites of it, and it's also bland. Like, it's spicy, but it's not salty. No. And I'm like, okay, so you like didn't season this either. So like, I'm like, all right, I just want the gumbo. It's fine. And then the waiter comes by and he's like, oh, is there something wrong with the gumbo? And I was like, yeah, okay. So since you asked, yeah, the gumbo's really watery. Like, on the menu, it claims that this gumbo has been like cooked for 3 days, and it hasn't. I can tell. It looks like you just added a bunch of water to it and just made it now. So yeah, like I just don't want to eat it. It's not very good. And he's like, oh, we'll get that taken care of. And I was like, oh, it's okay. It's fine. You don't have to. It's fine. Well, then the manager comes over. I guess the waiter had told the manager, and the manager comes over and is fucking wanting to take issue with me. She's like, so the gumbo, like, I hear there was a problem. Like, the gumbo wasn't good. And I was like, well, yeah, the gumbo was not good. And it was like really watery, which, like, if you're gonna say, so like at this point I'm annoyed. So I'm now projecting back onto, I'm like, yeah, if you're going to say that this gumbo's cooked for 3 days, like, make it thick at least. Like, don't lie to me and tell me it's been cooked for 3 days. And she was like, sir, I can assure you that gumbo was cooked for 3 days. I'm positive it's been cooked for 3 days. That is just what our gumbo is like. And I was like, I've made plenty of gumbo, and I have never seen a gumbo that is like half water. So I don't believe you. I don't believe that this was a 3-day gumbo. And she was like, well, it is. And I was like, probably not, actually. And we just talked like that back and forth, where she's like, well, I go back there at the end of every night and make sure that all of our gumbo is started. And this is definitely gumbo that we started 3 days ago. And I was like, well, I don't know why you feel the need to tell me that. Because, like, have you seen this gumbo? It's super watery. If it is 3-day-old gumbo, then guess what? You're making it very wrong and bad. And she was like, well, I mean, if you don't like our gumbo, that's totally fine. You're not going to have to pay for it, but it was made for 3 days. And I was like, yeah, I don't believe you. And it was back and forth like that before I was like, fine. I mean, if that's what you claim, it's what you claim. It's fine. She just would not leave until I was like, yes, your gumbo was made for 3 days. And she left, and I was like, what a weird experience. And
that was weird, right, Mom and Dad?
Yeah, that was weird. And they were like, why are you like this? we are never returning to Landry's anymore because of this fucking scene you just caused. And I was like, I didn't cause a scene. The waiter asked me, and then the manager caused a scene. And they were like, shut up, just shut up and eat your food and let's leave as quickly as possible.
Oh my god. The audacity! The chefs stayed overnight for 3 days cooking that gumbo. Fucking the SpongeBob. It took 3 days to make that potato salad.
That's exactly what it's like. Yes. God, yeah, I just my parents were like, yeah, we went out to dinner with with your cousin and her husband, and like and they were complaining about a bunch of stuff and really embarrassing us, and then they stole bread and took it home with them, and like they were just acting embarrassing, and this was almost as bad as that. And I was like, what are you talking about?
I complained about one dish that was cooked wrong. Did you take the gumbo home? You know what would have been the fucking Chad move? Go back 4 days later and been like, I made my own gumbo, took 3 days, try this.
Yeah. Here you go. This is what 3-day-old gumbo's supposed to be like. And they look at it and are like, yeah, it's good, but like, this isn't going to change anything, sir. Yeah. Well, right. I just needed to show you, you know?
That gumbo actually from 3 days ago is going on 6 days. So, wanted to take that.
There's that.
Can't even. I can't imagine fucking, like, teeny tiny, like, fucking 17-year-old you just complaining to this fucking wait staff who they can't control that their food sucks, but
yeah.
and she won't let it go too. That was her own fucking.
As soon as the manager showed up and started being like, you can't, it is factually not true that this gumbo was not made for 3 days, and I just would not accept it. Like, she should have just stopped. She should have just been like, this little 17-year-old doesn't know what he's talking about. He's probably made etouffee 3 times at this point, which is true. I had made etouffee 3 times at that point. And like, the thing is, the older that I get, listen, my etouffee is amazing, and it's
not
thick,
yours, theirs.
So like, theirs was fine. It like, again, it's the same problem that most restaurants have, where they're afraid to put too much seasoning on it, and so they let you salt and pepper it yourself. And I'm like, well, but there's not enough, like, it's just not flavorful enough on its own. I need salt and pepper, and then I'm just tasting salt and pepper. Like, this is salt and pepper porridge you've served me, and that's not good.
Well, when you go to a quality restaurant like they claim to be, they should season it for you. You shouldn't have to be the middleman.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, I get that they have to please like old people that are like, you've made my food spicy, and they're like, we cracked 1 pepper on it, and they're like, I can't eat this.
I'm gonna have diarrhea for days.
It's starting right now.
My nurse is gonna hate me.
I'm gonna give my nurse your phone number.
She's gonna video chat you with anger while changing me, and I'll just laugh.
I'll just laugh and laugh. Oh, what a jolly time I'll have.
The poops. Oh, the poops. Just fucking.
The thing is, like, as I got older, what I realized must have been the case. Like, imagine that she's telling the truth. This is a gumbo that's been made for 3 days. It had to have been like started off as a watery gumbo, and then they leave the lid on it for 3 days. That way no moisture can escape. All the water is still there. It doesn't get thick. And then they're like, well, dinner service is starting. And they fucking rip the top off and just start pouring it. Like, that has to have been the case. So technically it was probably a 3-day gumbo, but a really shitty gumbo.
I've always wished that Kitchen Nightmares would come and just try Corpus Christi stuff. Like, go to Landry's and just fucking Gordon Ramsay, like, is trying stuff and he's like, awful. It's 3-day gumbo. I'm gonna go to the back and talk to the chef. Just fucking, just ripping them to pieces. Like,
oh, come on. You made it for 3 days. You didn't even bother to get it thick.
You're not even using real shrimp. You're using store-bought. Just fucking... You claim to be serving fresh fish and you're buying it from the H-E-B? Fucking, like that joke that we used to be like, if Gordon Ramsay did Kitchen Nightmares, but didn't go to fancy restaurants, just went to fast food restaurants. Excuse me, I'd like to... I'd like to try the number 2. And the 3-piece tender meal, and fucking awful. This is your
problem. Proud of this? Hey, you come here, you. The fucking 17-year-old kid who's like, I'm trying to leave to go home and do my homework. Come here, you. You proud of the slop you've served me? What? No. No, why would I be? I don't give a shit.
You'll never be a chef with that attitude.
Good, I don't want to be. I'm trying to graduate high school.
Then why are you even here? Get out.
Okay. Am I still getting paid, or...
I said get out and throw the fucking burger at them. Just... I'm going to make a menu tonight, and this Whataburger is going to have a grand opening tonight, and we're going to rearrange the seats. Just fucking...
Which is, all right, now, I need to know what ingredients they have on it. Do you have fresh truffles? Gordon, what is a truffle? Oh, God.
And he's like, I brought the ingredients. You could buy this at any garden market. And people are like, well, we don't have one of those.
What's a garden market?
Yeah, is it fucking... I swear, if you sell burgers like these... the customers will swarm in, and they're like, customers already come in.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, like, I'm looking at how much we had to charge for one of these burgers. No one's gonna come in to our drive-thru for $22 burger.
Yeah, they're not. They're not expecting a gourmet burger in the drive-thru. Just.
So that's why we're shutting the drive-thru down. We're gonna make it a two-top table. We're gonna put 2 people out in the drive-thru. We're gonna have them sit out there, call it the chef special. You can watch the burgers be prepared.
And look at this local farm roast chicken. Oh my God, I'd fucking watch that. Gordon Ramsay just berating just minimum wage workers.
And the best thing is, like, because, like, one of the things about Kitchen Nightmares that's, like, kind of compelling is that, like, you do have, like, the chef that's, like, lazy or has, like, you know, gotten complacent and is, like, not trying to make their food better. And he's like, you gotta have pride in your work. But, like, as the nanosecond that Gordon Ramsay is like, your cooking sucks, fucking high school students would be like, yes. I know. I don't give a shit, Gordon.
I don't prepare these ingredients. They're already there at the station. I just put it together. I don't go home and
sweeping. Do you think this is a clean establishment? Listen, Night Crew didn't do it. And it's not my job to do it, so I'm not doing it.
He fucking pulls back the grill and is like, it's filthy back. When's the last time you've cleaned back here? They're like, that's the
Night Crew. Night Crew's supposed to do that. I don't know.
Yeah. This is a health hazard. Just fucking...
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, no shit. But
anyway, I have yeah, it is about clocking out time, so I will be leaving.
I am a part-timer, and I have school in the mornings. We don't need you. We don't need you. We need dedicated chefs. Just fucking...
You're not dedicated to the cause. You don't love Whataburger. Yeah, I don't. You're right.
How dare you wear that uniform?
You take it off. You take it off right now.
Dude, the thing I like about Kitchen Nightmares is Gordon will go in and he'll just like shit talk the food, and then he'll tell like the waiter or the waitress and be like, is it always like this? And they'll be like, oh yeah, the manager, he thinks he's fucking big shit and he loves his cooking and he thinks it's great. And I've personally have told him before that this isn't how it's done, but does he listen? No.
I'm the smartest person in this restaurant, and no one wants to listen to me.
The ideas I have, but do they hear me? No. They just
said you're stupid.
They said, I don't pay you to think, I pay you to wait. Get out of here. Like, oh my god. There was this one where this guy was like, I don't know if they, and that's the thing, I don't know if they purposely do dumb shit for the show, or they actually do this. And then they'll have these testimonials from people that are like, yeah, I come in here all the time and the food's awful. Well, why the fuck do you keep coming?
Yeah, why are you here? It's just the only place that I can. It's on the way home from work, and it's just so fast.
I know it's bad, but I mean, I don't want to cook. Just
it's like the alternative is going home and microwaving a pizza, and like, I don't know. I've had an awful lot of Totinos. My doctor said I should stop, so I come here, and they microwave a different pizza for me, so it's better.
I remember this one time. There was this chef, right? And he was like, yeah, we got a cool new innovative new salad, and I want you to try it, Gordon. It's a grilled salad. And no shit, he just slices an iceberg lettuce like in half, and he puts it on the grill for a little bit, and then puts it on a plate and goes and gives it to fucking Gordon. And Gordon's like, what the hell is this? And I'm just like, why would you... Salad doesn't taste good burned.
Yeah. Do you like the char? No, get some bits with the char. That's the good part of the grilled salad.
Yeah,
you're not even trying it right.
This is how we do it down here in our side of the city. This is local delicacy.
Somebody accidentally was bringing a salad out one day, fell right on the grill. We said, that's the last salad we got. Better put it back on the plate. We gave it to them. They said, is this salad grilled? Awful fancy. And that's how we started doing things from then on.
Oh, they grilled the salads here? Oh, man. I
didn't know we was at fine dining.
I didn't know this was the Ritz. Another napkin, garçon. What's your best wine made of, D? Fucking, oh my god.
Only the finest Boone's Farm for you. Strawberry Fields.
Oh, look at Mr. Fancy with two kinds of forks.
Look at Jimmy Two Forks over here. Getting too big for his britches, huh?
Look at Mr. Real Glass over here with actual glass for cups. I didn't... Bring out the fine china. This plate's actually made of glass. I'm so used to eating on a napkin.
Yeah, I put all my food in a paper towel every night. I have to eat it real fast or it starts to fall apart. That does give me extra fiber, though, so that's nice.
Listen, I'm so used to eating my soups out of a red Solo cup. This is fancy.
Listen, skadoosh, amazing.
What? You know what I find both gross and good at the same time? French onion soup.
French onion soup is one of the few soups that I really like.
Now, I love the fucking nice melty cheese on top. But then after that's gone and you've drinking a little soup with it, it's just gross. It's just a bowl of onions with broth.
Yeah, baby. That's good shit.
I mean, it's fine, but I feel like being like, after I finish the cheese, I'm like, hey, waiter, can I have some more cheese? Just, can you bring me another
I don't want
French
to be a
onion?
bother, but like, got any more of that cheese back there? Or...
Can you get me another French onion soup and just scrape the top onto this one and throw that one out? Just
Hey, I'm going to sit here at this table for the next 5 or 6 hours. Just the next time that someone wants a French onion soup but doesn't want the cheese, make it with the cheese, scrape it off, give it to me. Or even better, take my soup back, microwave, and give that to them. And then I'll take their cheese soup.
I think it'll work. You just tell them that you were out of cheese and you don't know what happened. You just... Oh my God.
I think it could work. Who am I to say that there's not going to be someone that wants French onion soup, no cheese?
I personally don't eat at fancy places very oft. So usually when I do eat at a fancy place, and majority of the times that I have always been with you, are the Austin crew, and I never know how to act. I just like that time when your parents took us to, like, I think it was the Pelican Reef?
The Pelican Club, yeah.
Yeah. First of all, it's like a restaurant on top of a, I don't know what. So when we got there, I was just like, oh, this is cool. You know, it's very grounded. But you walk to the back and up some stairs, and you're like, where the fuck are we going? And then you get into, like, this kind of little classy-looking joint, and the appetizers are like $50, and I'm like, oh, and like your parents are like, get whatever you want, and I'm just like, well, I don't. I'm like, this is expensive, and then like, basically, and the stuff comes out, and I feel bad eating it. I'm like, this is like $10 like per fucking appetizer that I'm eating. I feel bad having one, more or less two, and your parents are like, eat, please. Like,
yeah, they're like, get whatever, anything you want. Don't even fucking stop asking. It's annoying. Just eat it. Get it and eat it. And you're like, but it's going to be like $70 for the steak. And they're like, I don't give a shit, V.
I felt so out of place that day. Although the food was beyond delicious. I didn't know how to act. I was taken aback by how, like, I was dressed like a slob. I dressed like a slob back then. I dress like a slob now. Mm-hmm. It's just, I didn't know what I should do. Like, it was weird. And Mike was there in a muscle shirt.
He was. Yeah. There was a lot of stuff there that was like, I don't know, questionable. Like, so they also, like, we all showed up. And I think we showed up before my parents did. Because they were like, oh yeah, we're on our way, and I had gotten way too drunk with you two the night before, and was throwing up all day at Mike's house, and so
that's right, that was that night.
Yeah, and so and I was like, God, I do not want to cancel this. I really want to go to this restaurant. And then eventually I was like, yeah, no, we'll be there. We'll make it. We'll make it work. And so we go. We end up, like, you know, showing up to this place, and we showed up before my parents and walked in, and we're like, hey, you know, the reservations for sites, we're eating at the restaurant here, and they were like, do you mean like, because like it's above, I think, like a bar, but it's at a marina, and they were like, do you mean like at the bar? And we were like, no, we mean at the restaurant, the fancy restaurant. And they were like, okay. So they like lead us inside, and it's very clear that they like made a value judgment on us at that point, because that's the point at which they said, we're going to go ahead and seat them upstairs. And so they walk us upstairs, and we were like, all right, yeah, we're going to go sit upstairs. No one's up there. It's just dead silent. No one is up there. And we're like, wow, it's happened again. It is again, a restaurant has been like, these three are going to cause some fucking issues. We got to put them in a place where no one's going to see them. And my parents picked up on it too. They showed up and were like, "Oh, they saw Fee and must have sat us upstairs." And we're like, "Yep,
that's what it was."
Happened. That is what happened.
That is so funny because I don't know if we've talked about this on the podcast, but there are numerous occasions where it's you, me, and Mike, and the restaurant will go out of its way to sit us away from people because if we've gone there before, they know. They're like, oh, those are the guys from last time. So just please get them away.
Yeah, please, anything. God.
At one point, this Chinese restaurant that we'd always frequent actively moved us in the middle of our meal to move the people around us to the other side of the rrestaurant.
Mm-hmm.
And left us on one side by ourselves.
That was the first time. And then every time after that, they because usually, we would go to this Chinese food buffet for lunch. And so as a result, they only have like half the restaurant open. Except when we show up and they go, oh, it's these three. Put them on the side of the restaurant where there's fucking no one and they're not going to bother anyone. And maybe go to their table twice while they're here to see if they need refills. But do not interact with them at any other point.
Dude, here's the thing. So I'd say we've matured now. But back then we didn't give a single shit about people around us. Anyone else's dining experience, it didn't matter because we were belting out jokes at top volume and laughing insanely loud and just making a ruckus and making everyone else around us uncomfortable. And we didn't care. Like, Colby cared for a little while and then I think he stopped.
Yeah, the thing is, by the third time they did that, I was like, okay, listen, they know what they're getting into. I can't give a shit anymore. Because, at this point, I'm like, we're just hanging out and having fun and laughing and talking.
Yeah,
we're not doing anything weird or bad. We're just loud.
Yeah, we're not
we're not disruptive. We're not looking over at other people and being like, hey, what you got over there? Hey, where'd you get that? Is that good?
Yeah, this was just confined to the table where we're sitting at, and we're just actively being loud. So we're basically I get upset when I see that at a restaurant now, but back then I didn't care, and I know we looked like just troublemakers. Colby was always in jeans and a shirt that was too big for him. And long hair that went down to his back. And Mike was just a big, muscly guy in shorts and a muscle shirt. And he never changed, ever. He only had that one fucking outfit.
Yep, sure. It was the same shorts and tank top. And he always had his cell phone, out, basically.
Yeah.
And with a huge case. And, that's the prototype of, this man goes to the gym... And if you do something around him that's wrong, he will scream at you and throw things in a restaurant. And he's like, I don't give a fuck. Mike doesn't do that. But he looks like a dude that would.
Yeah, Mike looks like if you even slightly raise your voice and asked us to be quiet, he would stand up and fucking beat your shit in. He was a real nice guy, but man, did he just look angry all the time. And it wasn't his fault. It was just, he had a very furrowed brow and his eyebrows were always in anger mode. And, he kind of had a deep, loud, demanding voice. And so he was always in a muscle shirt and he just looked like a fucking caveman. So, and he did go to the gym and work out all the time. So, yeah, he looked, and he was he's 6'2"?
Yeah.
So
he's a tall man. You've got this very large, imposing man that's just that's coming in with white kid with long hair and like just ill-fitting everything. Looks like he spends all his time on the internet. Could have been a school shooter at one point. Like,
oh my
that's
God,
like,
you did.
That's kind of the vibes that I gave off. It's fine.
You did, and then you had like 5'4" me with like long big afro, just giant big afro, and I was wearing black everything, wore black pants and like a black shirt. And I looked like a child, but I was with these two adults, so they didn't know if I was like someone's little brother or one of their kids or who I was. I was like the wild card because they didn't know how to deal with me. Mm-hmm. So that was our group. Just we were like a weird assortment of like a mishmash of people that were together that you'd never assume would be like associated with each other.
Yeah, and as a result, that just meant that, like, yeah, as soon as these guys come into your restaurant, make sure no one's around them, because we've either they've gotten complaints about us from people, or they have just let's head this off at the pass. Let's just make sure everyone has a good time.
Yeah, they're like, listen. They come here a lot, and they're constantly coming here and eating, so we can't have them not do that, because then we're losing money. So how about we separate them by the whole restaurant, and then maybe put up one of those paper walls, because it was always an Asian restaurant.
yeah, like the screen.
Yeah, the screen. They're like, look, you don't have to look at them. You don't have to associate. You could probably hear them. But you don't have to.
Yeah,
you
could definitely hear them. Just pretend like they're not there. It's fine. We'll turn the music up.
Oh shit! That. Oh man. I feel like places in Corpus like back then knew who we were and would. I felt like at some point I'm like, they're gonna put up a sign that says "Watch out for these like 3 individuals."
Yeah, these anytime these guys walk by, something's gonna happen for sure.
Because we had like, it was just a ritual like every couple of days, every week, where we would like go and hang out all night, and then go be rowdy at the Best Buy, at the mall, at the restaurant. And then, like, walk around a whole bunch of stores just being very loud and, like, uncaring about the people around us. And, like, we wouldn't do, like, anything to anything, but we would do stuff to each other, which would make everyone else uncomfortable. Because we were just shouting, like, obscenities at each other, basically.
Basically, however you would act with your friends at home is how we were acting in public. There was not a separation between the two. Yeah. In fact, if anything, we were more rowdy in public than privately.
So true. And then go end our afternoon by going to a park meant for little children. Run and play hide and seek like we were all 5, and push the children off they were like, oh, we're playing here now. The adults are playing here.
Get out of here. I mean, if we go there on like a Saturday afternoon and it's like 50 kids plus us, doesn't matter. We didn't stop at the park and go, that's too many kids. I don't think we can do what we want to do. Because we would also go there at night. Yeah. Which is like, to be fair, this is a park that like, number one, it used to be an amazing park.
It's not anymore.
But like, yeah, not anymore. It started off as like a traditional, like big, huge, sprawling wooden structure park.
Yeah.
With like pathways and like, rope bridges and stuff. And wood chips on the bottom. And tires, and then they were like, there's too many rats, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna shut down the park for a while. We're gonna take out all the wood chips, remove all the rats, and then we're gonna fill it back up with like bits of tire That's what we're going to do. We're going to like put down asphalt.
Oh no, yeah.
And that didn't work because rats came back pretty quickly for that wooden play structure. But like we were still coming. Like as often as the park was open, we were there. And night times were a real problem as well because like it's an open park. You can't stop people from going there. The cops would come by every once in a while. But like people would go there to like do drugs and have sex sometimes. And the crazy thing about it, excuse me, is that of this like whole structure, like it's this big sprawling structure. To get down there, you have to like go off on a road, go down a big winding road down to this parking lot. So by the time a cop could come down there to investigate the scene, and by the way, it's the parking lot and then like not that long, maybe like an eighth of a mile, but it's like an eighth of a mile to walk to like the actual park area. So by the time like someone saw a cop car like coming down the road, it was a good 5 minutes before they could ever get to you. So by that point, you're just running. Like, and there's no other streets or anything. So you could just run down the beach, into the water, like up and through some trees, like by some apartment complexes. You could just run away really quickly.
You could run down to the hotel and fucking hide in there because the hotel didn't care who was in there.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like not because I think Corpus has one nice hotel and it's like the Omni. Every other hotel is just like, whatever. We know you're here to like go to the beach and collect seashells and go back home, whatever.
So Corpus isn't really like that anymore. Like Corpus is less fun now. Or maybe because I'm older it is, but like Corpus used to just have a lot of like very niche weird places that you could find and go do like fun activities. And then also go downtown to like where the businesses are, and do stuff. But now there's not really a lot to do in Corpus. And again, maybe it's because I'm older. Cole Park is still there, but like nobody goes there. And there's a big skate park next to it. And another cool thing about Cole Park is our school, just for funsies, would have field trips and take everyone there. So
that was the best.
Dude, yeah. It was like, I wouldn't say a big deal, but it was always, you knew you were going to have a good day when you go to the Cole Park and you get your little sack lunch with your sandwich and a fucking soda. It's going to be a good day.
Yeah, man. And like, because the one time that I remember like going to Cole Park pretty vividly, because like we went there a couple times in high school with drama, but the one time that I remember vividly is the school took us to go see the movie Dinosaur, and then afterward took us to Cole Park to go eat lunch and hang out.
I think they did the same thing with us. Actually, there's a few times I remember going to the movies as a student, which I always thought was cool, but like, I don't think any schools do that anymore. It felt weird, but I liked going and doing it, but like it must have been a nightmare for the teachers.
I would imagine so.
Because I remember going and seeing Stuart Little with the school, the dinosaur movie, and I think like one other one. But like, man, thinking back on it now, I know it was like hell for the teachers trying to get these like 50 rowdy kids together to get into the movie theater and not make a ruckus while people are actually trying to watch it and they picked the wrong day.
Yeah, they're like, we're going to take you during the school day. It's going to be like 11 a.m. and adults don't want to see this movie, so they're not going to be at the matinee. Kids are all in school, so like it's just going to be you guys. And still you would get like just like either a family with a kid, like a baby that's not in school yet, or like always just like 5 or 6 people that shouldn't have been there and they made a big fucking mistake.
You should have checked your local schools, bitch. That's the thing, like schools are like so different now. Like,
yeah,
like I said, I'm it's weird when I think about when I was in school versus like when my sister was in school or how school is now, because like no one gave a shit. I mean, they gave a shit like if you were walking in the hall, like during class, and not actually doing anything but just walking the halls for no reason. We didn't have like a hall monitor, and most of the kids were friends with the school cop, so the school cop didn't really give a shit. Kids just walking around to classes they shouldn't be in, are just bullshitting or jumping out windows during class. I don't know if you've done this. I would say I don't know if you've done this, but like whenever class period was over, I vividly remember that some of the students wouldn't go out the door. They would jump out the window because the class was closer that way.
Oh my God. No one in my class jumped out the fucking window.
I could tell you some names, and you could probably be like, "Yeah, I could see them doing it." But
yeah,
that's
fair.
I'm not gonna put those. I'm not gonna put them on blast because I've also jumped out a window before from school because I thought it was cool. I thought it was a cool way to exit.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it is a cool way to exit. I hate to admit it. It's a very cool way to exit.
And the thing is, too, is me and Colby also we're in our theater teacher's class, and she has these big windows in the back, and they had big ledges, and we never sat at our table. We always just sat on the window, like during class. So our school was like very small, and everyone knew each other, so everyone was cool with everyone fucking around. And if they saw someone fucking around, they're like, that's just fucking one of the Ruffinos, or that's fucking Chris or someone. Or that's like, fucking,
it's fine.
It's fucking Nose up to his old tricks.
The thing is, I feel like a lot of, because I feel the same thing, and especially I feel it a lot during the pandemic, because like as I got older, like my activity to do with others was like, I don't know, do you want to go to dinner? Do you want to like go eat something? And then like that was it. Or in the rare opportunity, like, let's go to the fucking board game cafe and we'll play board games for a couple of hours, right? Like, that's as exciting as it gets. Whereas with like me and you and Mike, it was like, it wasn't what activity are we doing? It was the activity that we're doing is like hanging out with each other and yelling at each other in public. Where are we going to do that? And it didn't matter. It could have been anywhere. It could have been Target. It could have been Walmart. It often was Walmart.
Yeah.
It could have been anywhere. But we were just doing that, and that was really fun.
Yeah.
And so like, I think like that plus the internet, the fact that like, you know, you can go home and have like a really good time just hanging out on the internet. You're like, what the fuck do I do out in public again? Like, what is appealing about going outside? I don't remember.
Yeah. Dude, I can tell you right now, and I got asked this question today, because I have a week off work every month, right? Because that's how our schedules are made. I get a week off every end of the month, 7 days. And this old man who works there, who relieved me, was like, "Hey, you're on your 7 days. What are you gonna do?" And I was just like, nothing. I'm like, I'll watch TV maybe. I guess just go to the gym a few times and then go back home. Just like,
the thing is, I would have been that guy, because whenever I first got out of college and had my first job, I was working with a guy. So number one, just very, very quickly, I'll tell you about him, but I'll also give you this like crazy immigrant story. So he, I was talking to him and I was like, "Yeah, so what'd you do this weekend?" And he's like, "Why do you keep asking me that?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "I went home and I watched Netflix and then I went to sleep. That's what I do every day. As I go home, I heat up a frozen dinner. I watch Netflix and I go to sleep. That's what I do every day. And I was like, you don't do anything else? You don't like, I don't know, go to a park or like play video games with your friends or go out and like do. He's like, no, I don't. That's all I do. Yeah. I was like, Jesus Christ, really? And I thought that was the saddest fucking thing. But if I was single right now, I guarantee you, like, if someone asked me, hey, what are you going to do this weekend? I'd be like, probably watch Twitch and sleep. That would be the whole answer.
Yeah, dude, I feel so weird when I don't know why the people ask me that. Like, they're like, oh, you got anything planned? I'm like, because, like, not just the old man, like my coworkers, they'd be like, hey, on your days off, you got anything planned? I'm like, no. I'm like, not really. And I feel like, I don't know, like, it's off-putting. Like, they hear that and they're like, oh, okay. And I'm like, I don't mean to come off that way. It's just, what did you want me to say? I'm gonna go and wrestle a bear.
Yeah. Well, like, that's what I want to know too, is like, what answers are people expecting? Because, like, I recognize that I have taken myself out of, like, 50% or more, probably 60 to 70% of adult activities by not going to bars and not watching sports. Yeah. Because, like, watching sports or, like, watching UFC or whatever, that's like, okay, you can go to a bar and do that. You can go to a friend's house and do that. You can, like, and going to a bar is, like, a thing in and of itself for people. So, like, people can just be like, oh, yeah, I went to this bar on Friday night and hung out, and, like, it was great. There was karaoke or whatever the fuck.
I met a stranger, and we bought each other beers, and we had a good time.
Mm-hmm. We threw up in each other's mouths. It was great.
I find it, like, it was easier to do it back then. I didn't really care, like, because, like, Mike or you were there. And then the people that were there already had seen us so many times that it was just normal. And now I don't have, like, anyone near me that wants to go to a bar. They're like, why don't we just, like, Mike especially, at sometimes he'd be like, hey, how's about we just buy a couple of tall boys and play PlayStation and then like watch TV afterwards. I'm like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, sounds good.
And that's, like, okay with me. And that happens once, like, every few months, maybe. Because, like, I know, and I feel bad, and I probably won't tell Mike, and he won't hear this, but, like, sometimes he would, like, invite me to go to his house, and I was just in mid-day off, and I was like, oh, I don't want to put on a shirt.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to put on shoes. I'm like, I'm comfy. And I'll tell him, like, oh, nah, man, I gotta work tomorrow. I got called in for overtime. And he's like, oh, man. And I'm like, yeah, I know, right? Just...
I know, damn irresponsible ass work, can't even do nothing.
And what I tell him is just like, if you would have called me, like, 2 hours ago, before they called me, I would have said yes. I would have told them no and told you yes. And that was always my excuse. And then sometimes I'm like, yeah, I need social interaction, so I will go. So yeah, I
deeply relate to this because, like, it's, I don't know what it is about being an adult. I think it has to be that because, like, as soon as someone is like, oh yeah, hey, we should go and do this, my brain is like, that sounds like fun. Yeah, let's totally do this. And then as soon as they go, yeah, how about Saturday? I go, oh, fuck, I didn't mean actually do it. I meant that sounds like a good activity to never do. That sounds like a really fun activity for someone who's not me.
Yeah, that sounds fun in theory.
Yeah, but in practice, like, I really just want to stay home forever.
I'm like...
Oh, boy.
I'm like, yeah, I see enough of you at work. And don't get me wrong, you're not, like, a bad person, but...
Oh, you're great. I love you. You're bee's knees, but, you are.
Yeah, I'm like, but I kind of just want to be alone. And I, like, oh my god, one of my coworkers, I know he's like, hey, what are y'all guys doing on like this day? I'm like, I'm thinking about going to the movies, and I usually go by myself because it's just easier that way, or like my mom if she's off. But yeah, I may go, and they're just like, why don't we meet up and go together? I'm like, oh man, that means I'd have to go to a different theater than the one I'm used to. And and then we're gonna have that awkward after the movie where we talk about it and then be like, well, what now? And
yeah, you're gonna want to go eat, and like, I don't want to do that.
I'm dreading that awkward, like, well, do you want to go do something else? And then you suggest something, and then I have to come up with an excuse to say I can't, or I don't want to, or I'm not hungry, and then them being like, well, you could just come and have a drink and just chill, and I'm just like, I don't have a way out. I just...
Yeah, you're like, yeah, and do what? Like, I've probably said this before, but like, so the last PAX South ever, turns out, I went to, and I ended up just coincidentally, I was sitting down in like the board game area taking a break. Like, it was toward the end of the day. I was like, I gotta go get dinner at some time. And I was just taking a break, and then I saw somebody that I recognized. We had like interacted before, and he was with some friends that I met from the internet, and I didn't know that they knew each other. So I was like, oh, this is crazy that you guys know each other. And then we all sat down. There was like 10 of us, and we're just like talking and bullshit and have like a great time. And they're like, hey, we have an Airbnb that's like right down the road. You should like come over, and we're just gonna play Smash and like order some pizza and hang out. And I shit you not, the first thing that I thought was like, I'd have to get my car out to drive down there, or I'd have to get an Uber. And the fact that I can't immediately escape the situation and it'd be easy for me means that I can't do it. And I said that out loud to them. I was like, nah, see, I need an escape hatch to be able to get out, and an Uber will not get to me fast enough to make me leave. And so, like, no, I'm just going to go back to my hotel room and watch Akira alone is probably what's going to happen. And they were like, oh, well, I mean, if you change your mind, we'll be down there, and we'll just let us know. We'll send you the address. And I was like, yeah, cool. I won't, but thank you. And then I went back and was like, God, what is wrong with me? Like, I should stop doing this. I hate being this person sometimes.
Counter to what Colby was saying, I feel like, and give an example, when I go to your house, and I know we're happy to see each other, and it's really fun, but I want to do stuff with you, and we always have a good plan. Let's go to like this arcade, or let's go have dinner, and then come back and watch TV and just hang out and have a good time. And that's fine.
Yeah.
But in the back of my head, I'm just like, I'm having a really good time. Everything's good. But boy, I feel like I am inconveniencing this man and his family that I'm here.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's... Even that, though, like, as an adult, if I'm like going over to someone else's place, I'm like, yeah, like I'm having a great time. I'm enjoying myself. But then always there comes that time where I'm like, I probably better be heading home sometime soon. I've got an awful lot of stuff I've got to do whenever I get back, and I've got to, I got to think about this, and like my brain is just like trying to come up with excuses to get me to leave. Yeah. And so like even if someone is able to like lure me out into, you know, the wild to go do a thing, it's like, what do I how do I stay out? Like, how do I enjoy myself the way that I used to? And I don't know what the answer is.
I just don't think there like is one. And don't get me wrong, because this happens with my family as well. Like my sister and my mom will be like, let's go out, let's go to the store, and then we'll have like lunch, and then let's just walk around somewhere. And I put up such a fight. Like I'm just like, oh, I don't want to go. It's my day off. I only have like a limited time. I don't want to go do this. And then I bitch all the way until we get to the car, and then I bitch all the way until we get to the destination. Then we get there. I'm like, oh, this is nice. I'm like, this is fine. And then like,
having a pretty good time.
And once I'm out, I'm just like, that wasn't too bad, and I still have a lot of time to just do the nothing I planned on doing. And it's so weird. Like, I feel like I'm the only one that thinks that way, but obviously not. But it's weird.
I, in thinking about my interactions with the people that are around me and how that usually plays out, whenever I'm in the moment, it's great. I'm having a good time. Afterward, I'm like, oh, I'm so glad we saw these people. I had a really good time. I'm glad that we did that. And then they're like, oh, great, let's make this like a thing. Like, do you want to come over again next week? And I'm like, no, absolutely not. I would rather throw up in my own mouth and die.
Do you know how much I had to talk myself into doing this for a few hours? Just like,
you said you had a great time and it was worth it. Yeah. No. I did say that. But guess what? Not worth it enough.
Not worth it enough to do it once a week for who knows how long to the future.
Mm-hmm.
and here's the thing. Also, since you do live several hours away from me, sometimes I want to visit for like a day or two. I feel like when I do, because I'm staying there, it's usually on the couch or your guest room, whatever. I feel like you wake up that morning and you do like your morning routine, you do your thing, and then here comes fucking Fee down the stairs, and you're like, oh, that's right, I have a guest, and like you don't know how to like react or how to be like, oh, did you want breakfast as well, or you want a cup of coffee, like.
Oh, Fee, do you want me to make you a coffee? We were planning on eating at this place. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's fine with me. Just you're having an existential crisis. Just okay, say yes. Okay. Oh, okay.
Okay,
just
good,
like
good.
that's the thing about me. I'm not really picky about things, eating or doing otherwise. But like I said, it's just me. I'm just like, oh, I mean, here I am, a guest, and they have to like not do the norm, and have to accommodate to me. So it's always just in the back of my mind. So that's like, I love visiting you and your family, because me and your wife are cool. Of course, I want to meet your son, and I like hanging with you, of course. But boy, do I feel like just like a rat in a wall that you just can't get out.
Yeah. You're like, oh, I just got here. I've already overstayed my welcome. I must leave.
I have overstepped my boundaries. I didn't even bring a towel. They had to give me one.
Yeah, like you're like, do you have? Can I get something to drink? And you're like, what? Yeah, of course. Yeah. Like we've got like water. We've got. Oh, okay. Sit. Where do I get the water from? I'm so sorry I'm asking so many questions. I'm so sorry.
This is so stupid. I should know this. When we were younger, we would always be at your house, and we'd never ask. We'd just be like, I'm going to go get like this. I'm going to go get water. I'm going to go get a soda from the outside fridge. You want one? I'm going. And I'm not getting back. Just like,
I'm going, and I'm not going to go back out there for like 2 hours.
It was, and that's like sometimes I would like bring a cup so I could just fill up in the sink, because I'm like, I don't want to have to leave in the middle of whatever we're doing, which is nothing, and have to refill my drink. I'm like, I just want it here, and I will continue to not drink if so be it. Just back then it didn't even matter. But like as an adult, I'm like, well, I don't want to touch your cupboards. Like, what if something happens, or what if it's the wrong cupboard, or what? Just I'm gonna go to the sink, and you're gonna be like, what are you doing over there, stupid? We use the fridge water. Fucking.
Like, oh God, I didn't know there was fridge water. Huh? I mean, contrast that to like, my brother John, like, lived with us, or I guess came to visit us. I think only one or twice while we lived down south, and he made the weirdest choice. Like, he made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And then I was like, oh, man, peanut butter and jelly sandwich sounds really good. So I went into the kitchen, and I couldn't find the peanut butter, and I couldn't find the jelly. And I was like, where the fuck did John put the peanut butter and the jelly? So finally I was like, all right, John, where's the peanut butter and jelly? And he was like, oh, yeah, that's right. You do it weird, don't you? And I was like, what are you talking about? It's like, I put the jelly in the pantry and I put the peanut butter in the fridge. And I went, you what? Why? And he was like, well, that's how I do it. And I was like,
what?
Number one, why do you do that? And number two, you saw that's not how we do it. Why would you then just be like, fuck it. We're doing things my way now. Just like, just the sheer balls on this man to just come into my house and be like, yeah, you're doing things wrong, so I'm just going to go ahead and fix that for you.
Yeah, your TV should really be facing the front door. So I went ahead and unmounted it and put it over here and moved your couch.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and just redo all of this.
First of all, does your brother live out in the country on a farm? Does he have preserves? Like...
No, he lived in Colorado, and then at this time he was living up in Oregon. So, like, you know, a place with people that exist and live.
How does
and just for whatever reason, he was like, "Nah, you just jellies go in the pantry. That way they're easier to spread, and then you don't want the peanut butter to go bad, so you put it in the fridge." And I was like, "The peanut butter doesn't go bad. It's the other way around, right? Like it's jellied fruit."
It says on the jar, once open, refrigerate.
Yeah, refrigerate after opening. And he was just adamant about like, no, this is the way to do it. This is like
this an old family secret.
Like, yeah, you don't have to wait for we're the same family, John. He was like, you don't have to wait for the jelly to like warm up to start spreading it. And I was like, I don't wait for the jelly to warm up. I just spread it and it's fine.
Yeah, you put your knife in and it spread once it hits the bread.
Then he's like, nah. You got to do it the easy way. Just put it in the pantry. It's fine.
It's kind of like hard for 1 second, and then it spreads like it's supposed to.
Yeah, you put it down like it takes you maybe like 2 swipes before like it's thin enough to spread everywhere. But wow, you've really saved me some time here, John.
But if you put the peanut butter in the fridge, it gets hard and makes
it get hard.
It makes it hard to spread. And that's not what you want.
Nah, but you got to keep it good.
You've just made one problem into the other, a worse problem.
Yeah. You've made nothing better here.
You've in fact made it worse because the peanut butter
both experiences are worse now.
The peanut butter is already the kind of tough one to spread, and you've made it harder.
God,
that's so funny. We are on time, and we had a few topics we wanted to talk about today, and we talked about none.
True. Typical. Very typical.
Very. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. This is the ADHD podcast. Mm-hmm. Because behind the scenes action here. So before we set up and record, Colby always shoots me this question. What do you want to talk about? And I never know. And I spend all week and I'm like, okay, I could talk about this. I could talk about that. But then when the moment comes, I'm like, just fucking dumbfounded. I'm like, oh, shit. Oh yeah, this came out. This happened. And then, and then Colby like, well, that's cool, but we can't talk about it because I haven't seen it. And I'm like, fuck, okay. So then I'm like, oh, we could talk about this trailer, or this show coming out, or the fucking Final Fantasy IX anime that we were going to talk about today. And we made a big deal because we're like, that'll be fun, that'll be great. And then we start recording, and it's like that didn't even happen.
Yeah, it's like none of the prep even started, right? Like none of the prep. It may as well have never happened. We may as well have like talked about nothing. We may as well have like, as soon as we got on like on Discord and started recording, just said, all right, we're starting the podcast now, go.
Because without fail, and I think it's partially my fault, because ever since I've started giving myself nicknames, it opens us up to a topic that we didn't know we wanted to talk about, and then we'll talk about that for 15 to 30 minutes. And then from that topic, therein lies 2 pathways we can take. 3, actually. The pathway in which we wanted to talk about the thing we wanted to talk about, which is a straight path. And then we have the left and right option, which is talk about something we briefly mentioned while talking about the first thing, or go off on another thing about the thing we were talking about earlier, but say, like, the creator of that thing, or maybe that reminded us of a story from back in the day, and now we're on that topic, much like today. Because if you don't remember, at the beginning of this episode, we were talking about mushrooms.
True.
And then it devolved into just our childhood and how things have changed. And then it ended in anxieties and putting that on people. So, so now, and being introverted. So, again, we had several things that we wanted to discuss, and none of them were discussed. Not even mentioned until now. So, that was your behind-the-scenes action for before we sign off.
Yeah, don't worry. We may get to those things next time.
Oh, yeah. When
I don't
we
want
have...
to promise anything, because Fee may be like, and I'm an old bologna sandwich that you forgot about. And then we'll be like, what's in bologna? And then that's it. The whole podcast is now, what is in meat?
Yeah. We become fucking How It's Made, the visual novel, or the fucking audio book. Which is always funny. I will say something akin to that. Oh, I'm an old bologna sandwich in the fucking attic. And then Kobe would be like, damn! And then ask me why I am that this week. And then we'll go off on that. And it never fails.
Be that.
And that'll be that. And that's every episode of this podcast, which is really the Seinfeld of podcasts. It's a podcast about nothing. And I wouldn't have it any other way because I really enjoyed talking about nothing.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things to talk about, actually.
I also enjoy choking, laughing so hard that I choke, which happens a lot.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, I've never done it. Seems fun. The amount of times that you've done it, wow. I'm like, cool. Could be for me.
It could be, but I feel like the beard really hinders it because, like, and this is why I would never have a beard, because I feel like things would get in it, or if I coughed and threw up, it would be hard to get out of the beard, and I think that's a nightmare. I feel like it's a nightmare, and I don't want to deal with it. And not to mention, if I grew a beard like yours, it would just be connected to my afro, which I have, a huge one, and I would look like just a fucking big a big, huge fucking microphone head with eyes. I think if I had a beard, I'd be the strangest looking human, because I have no hair on my body. I'm sorry if this is TMI. I don't grow body hair. I just don't. Except on my head. My head has like the most hair. So if I was then to add another layer under my face, then it would look strange because I have no arm hair and no leg hair. Mm-hmm. But my whole head is just a mothball, a black mothball.
I mean, if you could do that, if you could make your beard the same size as your fro, that would be amazing, remarkable.
Yeah, I'd be that fucking guy from Aliens Exist with the white afro, except on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd have to go on one of those shows because it's a stipulation to be on that show. You have to look just the most psychotic to be on that show. Mm-hmm. Just like the guy with the fucking... He looked like he got up in the morning and just like gelled his hair in the most abstract way.
Yeah, he took inspiration from an abstract painting and just fucking went for it. He said, "Yep, that's me."
And then you have the guy with the white afro who looks like a golf ball and dresses like Colonel Sanders.
Yeah.
So I'd have to do like that. I can't just be the cool guy I am right now. Because I think I'm just the right amount of cool to not go overboard. My style, that is. But
just the right amount of cool. I got to put that on Fee's tombstone.
Oh my god, that's fucking sick. That's actually a very good quote. That's fucking sick. The right amount of cool. Here lies Felix Camarillo. He was the right amount of cool. Just fucking...
Yeah.
God, that's awesome. Again, we went off on a tangent, but it is time. So here you go. Spotify. We're on there. iTunes. We are also on there. If you listen to a podcast on anything that's not those two, we're on it. I bet I can tell you right now we're on anything.
I bet we're there.
I bet we're there.
You haven't even tried to look, have you?
You didn't even open up the application. You just thought, well, they'll never know. Here's the fucking thing. I do know. I actually
I know.
I do. I get an email that tells me what you're listening to us on, and I know for a fact that you didn't listen to us on iHeartRadio, which we're on.
Mm-hmm. We are on there, okay? We're on it.
Yeah, don't take my word for it. Just go and do it. Give us 5 stars because you're a fucking... You didn't believe us. You didn't... You...
Who didn't believe us? It's you.
You. And you're going to go to the Boo Box. We're on YouTube. We are now on TikTok, too. And
yeah. Go check us out on TikTok.
Yeah, dude. I gotta find another funny clip and put it on there. And then I want you to look in there and like us. Tick our talks and follow and subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
And then I want you to get all your friends together and organize like a big get together. Tell them that you're gonna go to this place and then go back home and go get them.
Go get them.
Go get them. I don't have a need for friends. Oh, George only needs George, and that's good enough for him.
I write my own friends. They're my best friends because I came up with them.
Exactly. Do you think they'd hang out with me otherwise? Fuck no.
Too powerful.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm too powerful and cool for them.
The Force? You'd think it's just a movie, but I have it. My midichlorian count.
I've got so much midichlorian in me.
I'm sweating it out. You don't want to get around me. That weird smell? That's the Force. It's not bad hygiene.
What do you know? You've never smelled the Force. I'm the only one who has.
Yeah. What have you done? Nothing. Worked at the Whataburger and got yelled at by Gordon Ramsay. I created the universe.
How embarrassing.
How embarrassing for you and your acne-riddled face. You can't have a good beard like this. Go to hell. Which I invented.
Anything.
Eternal damnation? I did it.
Hell, presented by George Lucas. That's what it's called.
That's